Welcome back for another 5 minutes here on CIH Media. Very thrilled to introduce our guest today. You know her. She covered the Philadelphia Flyers for NBC Sports Philadelphia last season. Katie Emmer is here. Katie, thanks for joining us.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the best intros anybody could ever give me. I love it. I love the hype. Oh, first off, though, so happy to be here, Eric. Thanks for having me. This is such an exciting concept, these 5 minutes. I used to play sports. I feel competitive here. Like, let's cram it all in 5 minutes. And most importantly, let's have fun. I'm excited.
It has been a task for a lot of the previous guests to get it in 5 minutes. Maybe you get an extra few seconds.
Challenge accepted.
Maybe we have to push to overtime, but we're about to find out. All right, so let's let everybody know, what are we going to be talking about today?
That's a great question. I would just like to say pucks. We're gonna talk some hockey first and foremost. One of my favorite things. Love all sports, but grew up in a hockey family of 6 boys. This is my love. But also some Flyers. I had a great year covering this wonderful team, the Orange and Black. I was gonna say, Eric, you're sporting the orange today. I love it. You love to see it
because it wasn't planned. You pointed it out.
Okay, you can say it was. But we're gonna talk that, and there's nothing better. I love to talk hockey. Love to talk Flyers. Let's get into it.
All right, let's put 5 minutes on the clock. Here we go. Flyers last season, they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference semifinals, a 7-game series loss to the New York Islanders. But from your perspective, do you think the Flyers considered it a success of a season under first-year head coach Alain Vigneault?
Well, you know what? For me, I'm an optimist, and I always look at the positives. In the moment, that Game 7 loss, that question was asked, Eric, and Alain Vigneault, none of the players, any competitor doesn't really want to think, was this a success when they fall, and don't make it to the final, the Stanley Cup final, and win that cup at the end of it. But now we're at this point, we're in October, we're looking back on the season, and I think it was a success. You look at what Alain Vigneault did to turn everything around, even Michel Therrien, Mike Yeo, all the assistants, the way they turned around the special teams, the way they helped out the defense. And another big bright spot too, Carter Hart and Brian Elliott, this wonderful tandem, but really seeing Carter Hart in his first official season, though it was cut short with this pandemic, seeing how this young player was really able to hold his own, especially in high stress situations in that bubble, in that Stanley Cup playoff run. It was quite impressive. This overall team, they have something to smile about for sure.
You look at some of the other accomplishments this year. You talk about Sean Couturier winning the Selke Trophy as the best defensive forward in the league. But even more impressive, and I think the heartwarming moment of the year when Oskar Lindblom came back after being diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, had to have been a huge lift for the team.
You know what? When we talk about the brightest moments, we can get into X's and O's like we just did there. And there's so much more. You can talk about the improvements with their goals against average, everything like that. But right there, what you said, there's some things that are so much bigger than the game of hockey, so much bigger than sports, and it certainly was Oskar Lindblom. Diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma in December, he completes treatment in July, returns to the ice. It was a moment that I don't think anybody, I know you're in the Anaheim Ducks territory, any hockey fan, no matter what team you're rooting for, any sports fan, any human, you're really rallying behind this wonderful human first, but also this wonderful player. Seeing him back out on the ice gave all of us chills in the studio, but it was fun to see the team really rally behind him. This was an emotional moment for those players, an emotional moment for the coaching staff, and especially Chuck Fletcher even mentioned it too. You got to be happy for this human first, such a wonderful guy on and off the ice, but also the player in him, to see him get back out there and now really see him in this off season, able to do his training and really sort of get back to maybe the shape he was in at the start of last year.
He logged 17 and a half minutes in that Game 6 against the Islanders, probably helped that team push it to a 7th game. Let's talk a little bit about you out there in Minnesota. We haven't brought that up yet. I hear it's snowing a little bit. But, you're an alum of St. Cloud State, really big in the college hockey world. Obviously, not a whole lot going on right now. What is it the most that you miss about the college hockey atmosphere?
Yeah, first, I love college hockey. Again, I love any hockey, if that wasn't clear yet. But college hockey was really where it all started for me. Just really growing up in this big family I mentioned earlier, and a lot of hockey fans. It was the Gophers, but then when I went to St. Cloud State, it was, of course, the Huskies. I loved covering them, too, getting to stand alongside. I knew it was sort of, at a young age, the action I wanted to be a part of, just watching my brother's games. I'm like, okay, so how can I do this where I'm going to still be on the sidelines but have a role? Production called Husky Productions at St. Cloud really gave me that opportunity. It was a student-run crew. They're still thriving. Again, you say right there, it's uncertain with this next year, but they're going to have another great year. The NCHC is a conference that the St. Cloud State is in. And, they pushed out a plan. They're going to have these pods, these bubbles, and they're going to have a way of doing it. We'll see what happens. But I certainly do miss just all that upfront, up close and personal interviews, or just getting to know the players, getting to know all these different teams. It's so fun. It's the magic too. But I have to say, one of the biggest things I love about college hockey are these fans. You have fans that are, whatever age they are, they love to be a part of it. You have young little players that look up to these college hockey players. And then you have, players that are even alumni, everyone else. It's just, you got to love the fan moments, and especially, the playoffs. And that's what I hope we see this year. But I loved every bit of it, and I always will. But covering the teams up front was really fun too.
Being out here in Orange County, California, the college hockey experience isn't quite the same as it is out in the Midwest. What are one of the things you missed most about being in the arena that fans out here in Southern California may not recognize?
Being in the arena that fans, well, I will say, it's cold. It's cold anywhere you go. I grew up in Minnesota. That's where I currently am right now. And that was just the biggest difference. But in the arena, I would just have to say that, again, it's just being in the action, hearing the goal horn, seeing the magic of the fan, the rally, the crowds around these teams, but just that excitement. It's so fun. The arena is every single part of it, outside, inside. I love it for sure. I do love it.
All right. I kind of trapped you there with that last question because we ended up going 15 seconds over, but that's totally okay because that's what
I love it. It's okay.
Katie, Emmer, thank you so much for joining us here today. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Hey, Eric, thank you so much for having me. Good luck with everything. And again, most importantly, stay safe during this time. Hopefully we will have hockey and sports back to normal very soon.
I agree. We all can hope.